Hello and welcome to I Love School Days, the show where we highlight brilliance and engage students in national conversation. Be it resolved that the implementation of income tax will positively affect the Bahamian economy. On the right hand, we have Anathol Rogers, Junior Senior High School, and the C.R. Walker Knights. It's good to have you gentlemen on the show. You income gurus, I like to consider you. Now, this topic is very, very important. But before we get into that, tell us your name, starting with Mr. Keith Roy, and give us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Keith Roy. I attend Anathol Rogers High. I am the head boy. I'm a member of the Gentlemen's Club. I am also a member of the Generals Club. My hobbies include swimming, playing basketball, and debates.
Sounds good.
My name is Marcus Umbresta. I'm also the head boy at my school and the graduate of the 2012 Gentlemen's Club. I enjoy public speaking, singing, and acting.
Now, both of you gentlemen are no strangers to I Love School Days, and congratulations to you, Keith. For the last time you were here, you were in the 11th grade, and you were not the head boy. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Now, be it resolved that the implementation of income tax will positively affect the economy of the Bahamas. The proposition and the opposition. What's your stance? Let's start with C.R. Walker.
My stand was how this implementation of such a cruel tax would actually affect the Bahamian economy, but not just the economy at large, but first with the individual. And when the individual is not able to spend money, save money, or invest money, then it will affect the economy.
Now let's talk about how the Bahamian population will react to such a taxation system. How do you think people will feel about the money that they are paid is being tampered with by the government legally?
Well,
That was one of the points that we made, because we said, here it is that I'm working a full 40 hour per week, and I'm making $178 per week minimum wage. And here it is, 43% income tax is levied. I'm only left with about $405.84 per month after the government takes out what they have to take out without my permission. Also, I have to pay these tithes, these utility bills. I have to take care of my family. And let's say an emergency happens, what do I have to actually tap into? These are the facts that we have to look at if we want to implement this tax. It will not work. It will only make the Bahamian more frustrated.
Before we go back to Keith, I find it very interesting that you mentioned in the list of bills is the 10% tithes to the church, I assume.
Yes.
To the church. Interesting. Mr. Roy, as we close.
well, okay, I do agree to him to some extent where he says there's a lot of bills to play, and obviously the Bahamian people will come out and say, okay, the government is putting another form of tax on us. What more could we do? But should I remind you, Marcos, that income tax, you have to be eligible to pay income tax. Persons that make about $175 a week, they may not be in the eligibility to pay income tax, so they don't pay it. Based on your salary, they determine some income tax has a fixed rate, or depending on how much you make within your salary. Say, for example, if you make between $30,000 a year, they'll tax you, say, 8%. If you make about $100,000 a year, they'll tax you about 10%. It's based on your salary. And persons who are of poor descent will pay no income tax.
But I must squash the point that Mr. Roy said here. He said that if the poor would not be taxed, but their first speaker during the debate said that it would be fair because both the rich and the poor will be taxed. My thing is, it will not affect the rich as much as it will affect the poor. If I have $1,000 and 10% is coming out, I'll have 900 left. But if I have 100 and 10% is coming out, I'll only have 90 left. So you have to look at it from that standpoint, Keith.
Yeah, but you also have to look at what she meant by poor.
The minimum wage would be considered poor?
The poor, she could have been talking about, could have been lower class society, but you have poor and you have really poor. And income tax, well, let's just look at it in the sense that person in the United States, it works in the same way that the poor people are not taxed and the rich people are obviously taxed the most. That's why, for example, some persons rather Republican parties than Democratic, because Republicans, they work in favor of the big businesses, whereas Democratic, they look at the economy as a whole.
Now, Mr. Roy, you definitely had the last say because we have to bring your colleagues Doral and Ronaldo on the show, so it's been a pleasure, and I wish you all of the best in your endeavors. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back with Doral and Ronaldo. They are the second speakers in the same debate. We'll be right back after the break.
Clean clothes for the family, uniforms for the baby, suit for mommy and daddy. We watch these suppressors to clean the suit. If you wanna look fly and you wanna look clean, if you wanna look fresh, better than all the rest. Bring on your church clothes and all your work clothes. Bring on your children clothes. Super wash.
At Scotiabank, we offer a number of borrowing solutions to make home ownership work for you. It all starts with a conversation. For the right mortgage advice, come in and talk to us. Scotiabank, discover what's possible.
But Jara being the male in the home, he was like the man of the house. So all I can say that is so much surrounding this little boy who didn't have a father in the home, but he looked to me and I tried my best to give him what things that he didn't have. I told him hard work, the determination that he has, and a desire to be a police officer from preschool. And even though I've tried to discourage him, the leader skills is in him to be something great, who knows? But I didn't give up on his dream, going to school, bringing him to school, having lunch, doing his homework, reading, just instilling him to read. The play dates, play time will be on the weekend, certain restriction, carrying him to musical classes, after school, urban renewal. The day-to-day, up and down with him, things that he didn't have, I owe it all to God, but to God be the glory.
The first time I met Jara was in grade 1, Russell, when we met as we were playing on the field outside. Yes, I consider him as a student leader because he is respectful to teachers and parents, and he is very intelligent. I expect him to be a leader, not a follower, and to go somewhere in life and to keep all this respect and manners to the others.
Being his older sister, you have responsibilities, and him not having a father, it was like me and my mommy, I'm the father figure. So watching him grow up, small, not big, bigger than me, I should say. And the experience was alright, we had some fights, but that's still my little brother. And I always be with him and encourage him that through God, all things are possible. So he always have a book in his hand, and he was watching some educational, like young children nowadays, they don't watch Sesame Street. The boy, when Sesame Street on, he in front of the TV watching Sesame Street. So he's helpful. Right down now, girl chores, he'll do. Your sister, you want me to do this for you? I'll be like, alright. So he's very helpful.
Well, I like all sports, but the sports that I excel in are track and field, soccer, baseball, and basketball. The accomplishment that I had made in decent sports, well, in track and field, I just get trophies, comes first, second, and third. But most of the time, I get a trophy for the cross country. I got a country for going to the sports center, and that's basically it. My mom, she pushes me to make my exceptional accomplishments, and my sister, she gives me some pointers to how to accomplish them. I don't hang with the wrong crowd and get caught up in gangs, violence. I stay mostly basically to myself a lot, and I just a well-behaved student. My plan is to work hard to become a police officer and stay focused. Don't get caught up with no negative gangs or structures. and to make sure I get better in my maths and keep on making my best for my GPA.
Welcome back to I Love School Days, the show where we highlight brilliance and engage students in national conversation. Be it resolved that the implementation of an income tax in the Bahamas will positively affect the economy. On the one hand, we have Anathol Rogers. Welcome back to I Love School Days, the show where we highlight brilliance and engage students in national conversation. Be it resolved that the implementation of an income tax in the Bahamas will positively affect the economy. On the one hand, we have Anathol Rogers, Junior Senior High School, and on the other, C.R. Walker Knights. It's good to have you gentlemen on the show. Now, your colleagues made some key points about taxation. Be it resolved that it should be, or income tax shouldn't be. Doral, let's start with you. Tell us about yourself, and we'll move to your colleague, Ronaldo.
Well, my name is Doral Pratt. I am president of the Anathol Rogers Speech and Debate team. I have been for the past 2 years, and I'm a retired veteran and champion.
Okay, go on for yourself. Okay, Mr. Ronaldo.
My name is Ronaldo Fields. I am part of the men's choir in my church, and I love debating, playing the guitar, and a little music wouldn't hurt every now and then. Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Now, you gentlemen, Mr. Pratt, during the debate, I see you were watching the political landscape. You threw a few things in there. Hoodwinked, bamboozled, run amok. What's the rest?
Lied to.
Lie to. And that was a very interesting piece. You not only made it informative, but entertaining. And you're retiring now. You call yourself the retiring champion. Now let's talk about the topic. Be it resolved that the implementation of income tax will positively affect the Bahamian economy. What's your stance?
Well, being the proposition, I actually can say I actually do agree with it, apart from
Being the proposition?
Yes.
Okay.
In my personal belief, I believe that it should be implemented. Reason being, it actually can help stabilize the economy. Let's take this for example. The government doesn't regulate its funds as it should. If income tax is implemented, then we'll have a better regulated economy. We'll know what to do when it comes to debts, how to build schools, how to go about projects, and other things that the government seems to be lacking the knowledge on how to do.
Okay, the ignorance of the knowledge to do these certain things. Now, one would argue that income tax isn't as stable as one would need it to be so that you can adequately calculate how much funds you can project from income tax. So how do you respond to such an argument?
If that's the case, then that would just be plain bias. Of course, if you have an income tax system, you can better regulate what funds come in. The government is keeping track of how much money is coming in, how much money do they have set specifically aside for the purposes of how to run the country, like I stated earlier. So to say that you cannot get the funds, cannot regulate the funds, like don't have an inaccurate number of the amount of funds taken in, would just be plain bias.
Now, Mr. Ronaldo, your thoughts on that particular part of the conversation?
Well, my friend, you said that in history, let me tell you something about history. The Bahamas as a tax haven, it has lured investors and investments. Investing in investments, they provide benefits for us. They provide jobs for us. It's provide jobs for us, and through these, the people are able to get money. And if you want to speak about history, we have from the year 2001, foreign direct investment rose to $316.7 million. That's a fact. That's facts. We have facts there, where the money actually has risen through years. So that's why we are saying that it is an actual blessing from tax havens to the economy of the Bahamas.
Now, just before
Nah,
we close,
but-
basically what you're saying is that we can attract more investors
Yes.
if we keep the tax haven label on the Bahamas. Mr. Pratt.
I agree with my opponent. I agree with him.
We have a holy
But
grail type point.
however, he has information deficiencies. Reason being, Barbados is also a tax haven. Barbados has income tax. Has the economy in Barbados actually lured investors, actually, how you say, deter foreign investors from coming in? Of course not. Actually, other countries that has a similar economy to the Bahamas has experienced 16 consecutive years of income growth. That's GDP and foreign investment. The Bahamas is one of them, of course. However, if income tax is implemented, it would make the economy better.
Ronaldo, your last point as we close.
Okay, what is income tax? Income tax is a country that which its taxes are levied at a low rate or not at all. A low rate. You said that Barbados has income tax.
Yes.
Is it at a high rate, low rate? It has income tax, right? And it isn't benefiting. Why?
How is it not benefiting?
It is not benefiting.
How is it?
You said.
The economies, the countries I'm talking about, has very similar, if not almost the same, atmosphere, economy, lifestyle as the Bahamas. If they can benefit from income tax, why not the Bahamas? The Bahamas, as you said, as your colleague stated, is one of the best countries in the Americas in terms of the economy, even though the Bahamas are not even in the Americas. The Bahamas can be better, can be more efficient, more stable
Now,
if
Mr.
income tax is implemented.
Mr. Ronaldo, how do you think the Bahamian public will react to such a taxation regime?
How I think the Bahamian public will react? How would you react if you're only being paid, you're struggling, you're paid a mere $200 a week? Now, of course, Marcus has already stated that the 10% has been deducted. 10% from that, you still have your bills to pay. Money has to be spent. Money has to be spent. And again, as he said, what about in times of emergencies? Where would the money be coming from? You don't already have enough money coming in.
Mr. Fields, you had the last say. It's been a pleasure to have both of you gentlemen on the show, and I commend you. And hopefully when we set up that training session with the politicians, then you'll be one of the presenters. What do you say?
No problem.
Good stuff. It's a pleasure.
All right.
We'll be right back to I Love School Days. We have more from the C.R. Walker Knights and the Anathol Rogers Junior Senior High School students. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Hey, Vitamalt takes care of you.
It's Bargain Mania time at Bargain City Plaza on Carmichael Road, where everything you need is in one spot along with super bargains. Pull up to SL Bargain City Service Station for all your gas needs. Celebrating a birthday? Then enter our monthly Bargain Mania gas giveaway drawing. Get all your grocery items at Tropic Mart Food Store. Need something cool and refreshing? Visit PJ's Discount Liquor Store in our new and improved drive-thru. The Sign Factory can assist you with all your signs, banners, and print ads. Also, Little Giant is the place to go for all your building supplies and household items. And when you're ready to unwind and relax, overnight with us at a Hibiscus Inn Hotel. It's all here at Bargain City Plaza on Carmichael Road. 6 stores, 1 super location, unbeatable prices, and bargains galore. Call our operator at 361-7422. Better yet, come and visit us today.
Hello and welcome to I Love School Days, the show where we highlight brilliance and engage students in national conversation. Be it resolved that the implementation of income tax in the Bahamas will positively affect the economy. We have Anathol Rogers, junior senior high school, and the C.R. Walker Knights. We have on the Anathol Rogers side, Simone White and C.R. Walker, Travis Robinson. It's good to have you students on the show. Now, tell us about yourself. Tell us your name, a little bit about yourself before we jump into discussion. Starting with you, Mr. Robinson.
My name is Travis Robinson. I'm currently a member of the C.R. Walker Senior High School. I attend the Hopes and Outreach Ministries, where I'm currently enrolled in the praise and worship team. And my hobbies are singing and dancing.
Ms. White.
My name is Simone White. I attend the Anathol Rogers High School, where I am a part of the debate team. My hobbies include singing, dancing, and drama.
Now, Mr. Robinson, let's start with you. The implementation of income tax and your stance at the debate was that it would have a negative effect. Let's talk about those effects for a sec.
Well, first of all, income tax is a compulsory charge imposed by the government on the annual gains of a person or corporation. Just want to get that established. Some of the negative repercussions that I spoke of at the debate was that it will encourage migration, both by Bahamian investors and overseas investors. I gave an example of Antonio Hollingsworth, a multi-millionaire and owner of Hollingsworth Rental Enterprise in Miami Beach, Florida. He isn't currently investing in the Bahamas. He has a rental company. He employs over 250 employees, Bahamian citizens. And his establishment in the Bahamas now is contributing to the economy directly, whereas he provides jobs for persons, for Bahamians, and they in turns are able to provide food for their families. And he only invested in the Bahamas when I interviewed him was because no income tax.
Now, what you're saying, Ms. White, based on his point, that income tax would probably not attract investors like Mr. Hollingsworth?
Basically, we already have something that resembles income tax, which is the national insurance. It helps the economy, the government, to be better equipped to make rational decisions. And so it helps the economy to be better regulated and more consistent.
Do you agree?
Well, I disagree. I mean, her teammates before her debaters, they spoke of income tax is going to reduce the fuel prices and things. That is totally wrong. If you have income tax, if gas prices is already high and you have income tax doesn't mean an increase to your current salary. That means a withdrawal from your salary. So if gas prices is already high and persons have to go to the gas stations and pay this high price for gas, then you want to take more out of my salary for income tax?
Okay, so the United States is a country that has an income tax regime, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the United States gas prices are significantly lower than the Bahamas, correct?
I would think so.
So, outside of the fact that it has to be shipped from the United States or some other country to the Bahamas, that in itself is a cost that we would have to pay.
Yes.
So, if we had income tax, or would that be a means of paying for the expenses that come with oil consumption?
When you pay for the gas to come in, where is that money coming from? It's like digging a hole to fill another hole. You taking the money from the Bahamian salary to pay for the gas prices that it may be reduced. But when you take the money from them, they still can't pay that because you remove the money what they was using to pay for this. You're digging a hole to try to fill another.
Now, Travis, you talked about migration in your presentation in the debate. Migration from the Bahamas in the event that there was an income tax placed on the funds received as you get paid, monthly or weekly, whatever. And also persons migrating to the Bahamas if it stays as is. In other words, the Bahamas being an attraction for investors, etc. Let's expound on that just a sec before we close.
Yes, basically, like you said, we have persons who come from all over the world. They come to the Bahamas and they invest in the Bahamas. The question is why? No income tax. Persons, if we were to implement income tax, then that means now that persons become psychologically affected. When I say psychologically affected, I mean a person, okay, I'm working for this week. I'm expecting to get $150. But when I get my pay, I only have $100. Then that's to me, what are you working for? This little measly little paycheck at the end of the week, I might as well don't work. And when they don't work, they now becomes a burden on the country's purse because they could go to national insurance, get the national insurance unemployment benefit. Where is that money coming from for that benefit? They're coming out of our pockets when they take the increase. So I'm basically paying for someone who did not contribute to the economy.
Mr. Robinson, you had the last say, and again, I wish you all of the best in your endeavors and continue to see far and soar high. It's been a pleasure discussing this with you. Okay. We'll be right back. We have the BTC Tech Tip with Michael, and we have some $100 phone cards. We gave away some smartphones and some $50 phone cards. So stay tuned because that challenge is coming up next. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
At Scotiabank, we offer a number of borrowing solutions to make home ownership work for you. It all starts with a conversation. For the right mortgage advice, come in and talk to us. Scotiabank, discover what's possible.
There are a million things you can do with 4G from BTC. 4G gives you the total freedom you want and deserve. There's no limit to what 4G can deliver. Stream live audio and video on the go. Watch the latest YouTube videos or the local news from the beach. Keep up with your friends on Facebook from almost anywhere. And browse the web at blazing fast speeds. 4G means more fun, more business, and getting more done on today's high-speed smartphones and tablets. 4G today, only at BTC.
Welcome back to I Love School Days, the show where we highlight brilliance and engage students in national conversation. We're all located in the Marathon Mall at BTC's flagship store. And we're going to bring some information about the BlackBerry in addition to give away a smartphone to some lucky person watching this show tonight. And that's going to be done by none other than BTC's tech geek, Michael. Stay tuned, that's coming up right now. Michael, I'm very excited about being here at BTC again. Last week we talked about the Samsung. Now we have a very special device, the BlackBerry, the best thing since sliced bread, some would say. Let's talk about the BlackBerry.
Well, BlackBerry, you can't go wrong with it. And one of the most key features on it, BlackBerry Messenger, otherwise known as BBM. Now, with BBM, you can actually text your friends completely free, no matter where they are in the world, so long as they have data. And you can text one friend, a group of friends, send a message, send an image of whatever you're doing. Something else that's coming out with BlackBerry is something called Mobile Hotspot. Now, we've had a few advertisements about that, where you can open up your phone and actually share your communications with your friends. Now, you'd have to have data on your phone, but if you do, then let's say you've got 5 friends, they don't have any Wi-Fi around them, but they need to work on their school project or whatever. You can be a good Samaritan, open up your network, and let them use the internet from you.
So this feature actually allows you to turn your BlackBerry into a router.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect, excellent.
I'd also like to mention that this phone is actually a 3G phone. Not many BlackBerry phones have that feature. So BlackBerry is getting up there. It's really getting up there and good speeds.
Thank you for tuning in to I Love School Days, and a very special thank you to BTC, Bargain City, Scotiabank, Superwash, and Vitamalt. We're broadcasting on Cable 12 every Tuesday at 8:30. See you next week.